It's that time of week again where we wrap up what happened in the middle. It's a midweek wrap up.
That it is indeed.
Is it?
I wasn't sure for a second.
Good, because I think I just came out of a coma.
A coma?
Or something like that. I don't know. I sneezed a lot.
Oh.
Went brain dead for a minute.
You good now?
I think so.
What do we usually start with?
Main event.
Hey, got it right this time.
Yeah. The main event started with Ryder versus Rose.
Yeah, Adam Rose doing the avant-garde. He's the artist now.
The rebirth of avant-garde.
Yeah, him and Rose's thing's still gross. It's so like.
And I bet Kane was in the back going,
Who?
Kane.
Oh.
He always goes by.
Oh, yeah.
Rose and
He just happens to walk by a monitor and go, oh god. But yeah, we get Adam Rose versus Zack Ryder. Ryder's been getting some more TV time lately,
which is good.
Very nice.
Good for Ryder.
We'll
like it.
We'll actually talk about him again a little bit later in the midweek wrap up. But he has a fairly strong showing against Rose. I mean,
he's got Rose on the ropes, but then Rose uses Rosa as a protection shield, and that ends up costing Zack Ryder the match.
Yeah, the distraction by Rosa allows Rose to get back in the ring, and as Ryder tries to get up on the apron, he gets kicked and then pulled through the ropes and hit with what used to be called the party foul, is now called the disaster piece. So
yeah.
Adam Rose picking up the win on Main Event. Then we moved on to...
It's a new thing, apparently. It's the heels renaming their finishing moves.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that again here in just a second. But first we had Tamina and Naomi taking on the returning Layla and Emma. Evil Emma playing babyface on Main Event. Layla looks great. I talked about this while we were watching. I love the fact that she stays consistent.
Yeah.
Granted,
I always think she looks great.
Well, yeah, but as far as her in-ring work though, she stays on top of it. She doesn't show ring rust really well, which is good. Unfortunately, this was just more fodder for Tamina and Naomi. Tamina and Naomi using a cheap win. Emma trying to get in the ring distracts the referee. Tamina hits a super kick, and Naomi picks up the win, being all heelish and stuff.
Yeah. Intense super kick, though.
And then apparently the world needs more Stardust. There's too many heroes, too many good guys.
There needs to be balance.
Needs to be balance, needs to be more Stardust. Well, it just so happens that up next we have Stardust taking on Fandango.
Yeah, Fandango dancing around the intergalaxy.
Yeah, this doesn't last very long. This is, Fandango gets a couple of shots, but this is very heavy Stardust. Stardust has a...
Towards the end, it looked like Fandango had his number, though.
Yeah, for a second.
He had a couple roll-up attempts.
Yeah.
But then was thwarted into the Queen's crossbow.
Yeah, one of the most elaborate...
Yeah.
The whole setup to the move, there was a lot of spinning and twirling, and all of a sudden...
It was very similar to the swinging neck breaker that Jamie Noble gave Rollins on Raw.
Yes.
But then he spun him around one more half turn so he could be in the right position.
Yep. So Stardust picking up the win over Fandango. And then in our main event...
Of Main Event.
Kevin Owens putting the NXT title on the line in another open challenge. Going on his usual tirade against Cena.
Yeah. Saying that Cena sat at commentary on Raw and watched the future pass him by.
Yeah. He's, it was kind of surreal, like, thinking about, like, John Cena didn't wrestle on Monday Night Raw. And Kevin Owens stole the show again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he also used the fact that there was 2 titles up for grabs, and Neville chose to face him and not Cena.
Yeah.
So, obviously showing that there's more importance when it comes to Kevin Owens. So he's putting the NXT title up, and his challenger is the man who has been being ducked by Cena.
Absolutely.
Cena's been ducking this guy. Every time there's an open challenge, he picks anybody but this person we get the one-man band, Heath Slater, baby!
Yeah.
This doesn't last long either.
No, Owens beats him up a little bit, and then Heath Slater gets to hit the leg lariat and a neck breaker.
Yeah.
And then Owens crushes him, and then throws him, and then crushes him again.
Yeah, his real claim to fame in this was that he got a 2 count, but that was...
Only if you added the 2 1 counts together.
Yeah. So, obviously, Kevin Owens picking up the win and retaining the NXT Championship.
Fun stuff.
Then moving on, Ring of Honor, making its way to the midweek wrap-up.
Second week in a row.
Yeah, last week was its debut. We open up with The Addiction. Originally, the main event for this episode was supposed to be The Addiction defending the tag team titles in a rematch against Red Dragon.
Bobby Fish, however, not cleared to compete. So, The Addiction said, "Why don't you guys just forfeit?"
Yeah, their options were either O'Reilly comes down and faces them by themselves because he can't pick a replacement and it has to be him and Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Or they forfeit the championships and never get another title shot until they make
Beat
their way.
the Monkeys and the Conquistadors.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they're not booking the Monkeys anymore.
Yeah.
So Kyle O'Reilly decides, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go head first into a handicap match, and he holds his own for a long time.
Yeah. O'Reilly, we just talked about, went to the finals of the...
him and Kushida in the
Super Juniors.
best of the Super Juniors. Yeah,
And,
I mean, he brought it in this. He was a house of fire for most of this, and he was damn near close to picking up the win. He had Kazarian in the armbar.
Yeah, and Daniels comes in, whacks him with a title belt, getting an intentional disqualification.
Yeah, and then they hit Celebrity Rehab, their double team finisher with
Using
the belt.
title, yeah.
Right on Daniel's knee, adding a little bit more impact to the move.
Which then that plays into, later on, they talk about the match at Best in the World. It's going to be Red Dragon going against The Addiction, but this one's going to be no disqualification.
Yeah, anything goes for the tag team titles at Best in the World.
So that belt is going to be as legal as a headlock.
Yep. Speaking of Best in the World, we have Mark Briscoe give one hell of a promo to Donovan Dijak.
It's the Sussex County Chicken, boy.
What did he said? I guess
No one would bet.
No, everyone. It's going to be chicken versus the ostrich. They're usually in a bird fight. People pick the ostrich, but they ain't never seen the Sussex County Chicken. What the fuck?
Mark Briscoe's fun.
He's insane.
In a good way.
Yes. Up next, we have Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Dalton Castle.
This might be my favorite match of the week.
This was pretty entertaining, as if Dalton Castle and Jushin Liger couldn't get more entertaining on their own. You put them together and they play off of each other really well.
Yeah.
Jushin Liger's been wrestling for 31 years, so he can afford to do a little bit of comedy in his matches.
We saw him do the spot with Maria at the iPay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
Not much seriousness needs to happen in a Jushin Liger match.
But yeah, they both get all their normal spots in.
It's a really good match.
Liger steals Jushin's
his boys. Yeah.
And does the pose in the ring.
Does the pose with the fans. That pisses Dalton off a little bit. He's not a fan of that.
But it ends up being a combination of the Liger Bomb and Brain Buster.
Yeah, Dalton Castle kicking out of the Liger Bomb, but getting hit with that Brain Buster was just too much.
Does him in for a 3 count.
For the peacock of professional wrestling.
But, they're still friends. They shook hands after the match.
They did.
And we go into a not-so-happy meal.
This is the
Brutal versus Burger.
This is the implosion of Brutal Burgers after a loss in a tag team match against the House of Truth. Brutal Bob Evans turned on Cheeseburger, and this Cheeseburger got a few shots in this.
Well, obviously Cheeseburger was really, really motivated by his favorite wrestler, Jushin Thunder Liger, backstage,
who slapped the shit out of him before the match.
He said, "Good luck, my American friend."
He taught him the palm strike.
Yeah, right at the last second.
Which he ended up pulling out. And
he uses it to somehow get Brutal Bob back into the ring over the top rope.
He's was one hell of a palm strike.
Yeah, I mean, he tried everything. He did the onion ring off the guardrail. He hit the springboard bottom bun. But it wasn't any use because Brutal Bob hits his signature shoulder tackle, goes for a pin, and pulls Cheeseburger up.
And a very awkward position.
Yeah. And the match is unceremoniously called off when Brutal Bob,
putting it lightly.
Brutal Bob sidewalk slams Cheeseburger off the apron through the timekeeper's table.
We're pretty sure Brutal Bob had a bell up his ass.
Yeah.
For a second. Yeah, very unfortunate.
He went really stiff after doing that move. So
yeah, it was, and he had to be the bigger man and walk away because it was his move and he had to look all badass. But
we cut to commercial with the crowd chanting "Rest in peace."
Yeah, we're not really sure what the status of Cheeseburger is, but we can't imagine it's very good.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's not so hot.
We find out that
no more special sauce.
We found out that next week we're going to get a contract signing for the title Battle of the Belts match between Jay Briscoe and Jay Lethal. Each of the guys have a few words towards each other.
Briscoe says if Jay tries any funny business, he's just going to beat the crap out of him then and there.
And Jay Lethal just being smug, saying that, you know what, it doesn't matter what happens in the coming weeks because he's walking out with both belts at best in the world.
Confident Jay Lethal.
Yeah. And then in our main event, we have the Bullet Club's Carl Anderson, the Machine Gun, and Doc Gallows taking on the Kingdom's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven.
With Maria.
This starts off a little more aggressive than probably was originally planned, but Carl Anderson decides to chase Maria around the ring, but as he throws himself out of the ring after her, he heel kicks her in the head.
And he freaking spins through the ropes out of the ring, hits Maria, and she falls over.
And then she gets up and runs for her life.
They chase around, he gets cut off, and there's some fighting going on. Bennett's trying to help out, and then Taven jumps over the top rope and almost completely misses both Gallows and Anderson. Almost overshoots them.
Almost face plants him. He's lucky they're big dudes and they were able to catch him on the way down because he was going face first.
But you know what? You only get one because later he tried to moonsault onto Gallows and Gallows didn't catch him.
Gallows didn't give him anything.
Gallows got your left foot, bro.
Yeah. There's been a big... lots of battles between the Kingdom and the Bullet Club.
Yeah, Bennett and Taven took the IWGP tag titles off of Anderson and Gallows.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of animosity there.
And this is also set up, we know that at Best in the World we're getting AJ and the Bucks taking on the Kingdom in six-man tag match. But this one goes to a no contest as well after Bennett and Anderson take turns beating up Red Shoes, the referee, the New Japan referee. He calls it off. And the Bullet Club goes for their double team finisher through the two chairs. Maria tries to stop him. She almost gets hit with the move, but Bennett saves her, unfortunately leaving Matt Taven to take the move all by himself.
Yeah.
So the Bullet Club are looking strong going into Best in the World, which is just about a week away. On the 19th. And
a week and a half?
Yeah, we're almost there. So
it'll be next weekend.
Yeah, we'll have one more ROH TV taping or TV show in between, and then we'll have Best in the World. So look forward to that.
Now moving on to Lucha Underground. We have Dario. He says there's going to be this awesome match to determine the #1 contender for an even awesomer show that's going to happen in 8 weeks, I think he said.
Ultimo Lucha.
Which is basically, from what it sounds like, he's hyping this up. It's going to be Lucha Underground's WrestleMania show.
I'm okay with that.
Sort of idea. Maybe, I hope it's like a 2-hour or 3-hour thing,
That'd be cool. Whatever it is, we're going to figure out who is #1 contender for the Lucha Underground Championship.
So he's going to take a match and pit all the guys who have previously challenged Prince Puma for the Lucha Underground Championship.
That being Cage, Cuerno, Hernandez, and Phoenix.
But Phoenix basically was murdered by Mil Muertes, so he's out of the match.
So we're stuck with a triple threat match of all heels looking to face the Lucha Underground champion, who is Prince Puma. But first, we get the return of Blue Demon. We haven't seen him since he was taken out by Chavo Guerrero with the chair.
And the funny thing is, his return to the temple was short-lived, as he was then put in a match against Chavo Guerrero.
Chavo Guerrero, who is now flanked by the crew, Cortez Castro and Mr. Cisco, since they've eliminated Bale in the most severe of ways. They've joined up with Chavo. Chavo makes pretty quick work with Blue Demon because Dario makes it a no disqualification match.
Yeah.
And so it's really just a beatdown
3-on-1
on Blue Demon.
Blue Demon's not even in ring gear. He's in his suit still.
Yeah. We get the double team from the crew, and then we get the frog splash from Chavo, and Chavo picks up the win over Blue Demon.
Easy as pie.
Now, one thing we didn't mention was before we went to Dario, we had a familiar face on top of the Lucha Underground temple. Drago was hanging out on top of the building, and we saw that he was making his way through the building throughout the show.
Yeah.
So first we have Chavo visit Black Lotus in her new cell. She's pissed off because he betrayed her and El Dragon Azteca. Yeah. We finally figured out what that guy's name is.
And Chavo's like, well, what did you expect?
I'm a Guerrero.
The Guerreros do this kind of thing.
So he hopes that she enjoys her view. But then we have Dario, looking, I guess he's washing his hands or something.
He just peed, so.
Well, we've seen that before. He doesn't always wash his hands after he does
He remembered this time.
Well, that's good. But unfortunately, while he's looking down at his hands, Drago appears in the mirror, and he realizes he's behind him. And Drago says, you know that I deserve to be in that #1 contenders match because I faced Puma before. And Dario says, well, I guess you did find a loophole. Even though you're banished, you did face Puma before, so I'll go ahead and put you in the match, but you have to win because if you lose this one, not only will you remain banished, but you'll have to leave your mask behind.
Yes.
So adding some extra oomph for Drago to have to win this match. And then we get the in-ring debut of the Disciples of Death. The three skull-masked guys that are following Katrina and Mil Muertes around. They are Barrio Negro, Trece, and Sinestro de la Muerta. They take on the returning Masquerita. Thank you. They take on the returning Masquerita Sagrada, Pimpinela Escarlata, and the debuting Bengala.
So, 6-man tag, 4 debuts.
Yeah, 4 debuts
pretty
and 2
cool.
returns. This is pretty epic. This was an all over the place kind of match. Like, there was just tons of stuff going on. We were
Pimpy doing his thing.
He was
funny.
He was all over the place in this. Bengala's pretty impressive. He's got a lot going on with the whole tiger mask and the shoulder pads and stuff. Yeah. So he's moving around with a lot of gear going on. But he moves pretty well for it. Masquerita, he's a little spitfire. Emphasis on little. But he brings it to the Disciples pretty well.
Yeah, and it's all fairly chaotic until towards the end it just becomes a systematic 1-by-1 elimination of each of the Technicos.
Yeah.
As the Disciples just kind of like, okay, well, let's get rid of Masquerita, and then let's get rid of Bengala, and let's injure Pimpe.
Yeah.
And they give him a cool little triple team, like backflip,
it's
face buster type thing.
2 guys hold him up very crucifix way, and then the third disciple has their legs, throws them over the top. They end up taking a big old face bump. From what we got from Matt Stryker, it's called the Streets of Galilee. Cool name, very devastating. And
they get the win with a gargoyle pin.
Yeah, that was. I like that. I think that was creepy and clever and probably really pretty uncomfortable for Pimpinela.
Say that 5 times fast.
Nope, couldn't even say it once, bro. Moving on, Johnny Mundo once in the #1 contenders match.
Mm-hmm. He's more so upset that he's not in it already. He's like, why am I not in it? And why don't I get a chance to be #1 contender for your Ultimo Lucha show? And Dario's like, because maybe you're going to be the champion.
Yeah. Because next week...
Maybe you're going to be the champion.
Next week, we're only going to have one match on Lucha Underground.
What?
We are going to have an Iron Man match between Johnny Mundo and Prince Puma. Whoever has the most pinfalls by the end of next week's Lucha Underground will be the Lucha Underground champion.
Should be fun.
So, yeah.
Well, we remember they like main evented the first episode or something like that. First or second episode.
Yeah.
And had an awesome match against each other.
Definitely.
So this should be very entertaining.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
I also expect that there's going to be some interruptions during the match of your crazy, like, behind-the-scenes movie clips that they always do, coming to and from commercial breaks.
Probably.
Because they're still going to have some storylines to run.
Yeah, they got to build a little bit, especially after what we have at the end of this, our main event, the Fatal 4-Way to determine who will face Johnny Mundo or Prince Puma, whoever is the champion after the Iron Man match next week. This was
fun.
This was fun.
All over the place.
Lots of stuff going on. Hernandez was not fond of having faced Drago.
No.
He
thought Drago was icky.
Well, and Drago's very much more, has a much more intense look. He's got the giant wings. He's got the face paint going on. He's extra scaly. Yeah, he's got a really intense look, and Hernandez wasn't excited to do anything.
A giant basis of this match, I'm gonna say like 70% of this match was Cage and Cuerno working together to eliminate Drago and Hernandez out of this match.
Yeah, they had the history of being part of the Trios tournament, so they have the tagging experience between the two of them to really try and divide and conquer and leave it just the two of them. And towards the end, we had a little bit of a dive fest to the outside, and then Cage ended up picking up both Drago and Hernandez, and we had Cuerno going for the arrow from hell. Now, the interesting thing at this point, Killshot is hanging out up on top of the place where Phoenix got powerbombed through. So he's just kind of chilling up there.
Hovering over the commentary table.
Yeah, watching the match. And Cuerno decides to do his arrow taunt towards Killshot. But then goes to hit the arrow. Hernandez moves out of the way. He ends up hitting Cage and Drago. Now, Hernandez... I don't even know what took Hernandez out. Did him and Cage get into it, or was it?
No, Cage was out after that because it seemed like he hurt his knee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was grabbing his knee after that dive.
Something took out Hernandez.
I don't even know. There was, like I said, there was a ton of stuff going on. I don't remember what took out Hernandez, but he ended up hitting his reverse Samoan drop on Cuerno. And I think Drago maybe drop kicked him out of the ring or drop kicked him off the top or something. But that left Cuerno and Drago in the ring together, and Drago spewing yellow mist, which is something new. We've never seen Drago do the mist before.
Dragons pee out of their mouths. Little known fact.
He hits the yellow mist and then pins Cuerno with the Dragon's Lair pin. Drago is now the #1 contender for the Lucha Underground Championship, so he's back.
Except there's a little asterisk.
Ah, shit.
Because Katrina has found her way into Dario's office.
And she says, what the hell? Why are you trying to get yourself killed by not putting Mil Muertes in the #1 contenders match?
So basically, she starts strangling him with his own necklace.
Yeah, with that key thing.
And so, in order to not die, he says, alright, well, we'll make Mil Muertes versus Drago
in 2 weeks.
To be the #1 contender.
So, next week we find out who the champion is. The following week we find out who the #1 contender is. And then 6 weeks later, we have Ultimo Lucha. I'm excited to see what else gets added to this.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if we're getting more than just an hour's worth of Lucha Underground, I am so okay with this.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Let's do this. All right, let's finish it up with some NXT.
Like always.
Yeah.
A lot of matches on NXT.
You want to talk about
6 matches, I think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
6 matches. That's a lot to pack into an hour.
Now go ahead. I want you to talk about your new favorite tag team.
Mike Rawlins and Elias Sampson. These guys are phenomenal.
Good sport.
Zack Ryder was on NXT, which was awesome.
Yes.
He's teaming with Mojo Rawley. Not awesome. I was a little perturbed.
I said it was going to happen.
Yeah.
After Unstoppable.
And it did. And
it did happen, unfortunately.
They went over on Rawlins and Sampson with a little, spinebuster Rough Rider combo.
Yeah, an elevated Rough Rider. Look, it was a good moment for Zack.
Mojo Rawley, fucking stupid. His little hammer dance, like Blue Meanie action.
Now, I've never been the biggest Mojo Rawley fan. I kind of liked him at first. I liked the fact that he had that energy. But then his wrestling was just crap. And then he went away, and he comes back. He looks a little bit more toned and everything. Looks like he can change it up a little bit. And then he does this dance.
There wasn't enough hate left in my body for this dance. So it started sucking the hate away from Titus O'Neil.
He's starting to like Titus O'Neil because Mojo Rawley is just... He's a tractor beam for hate right now.
My dislike for Titus O'Neil is going down as my dislike for Mojo Rawley is going up.
Yeah. So, don't be alarmed if one of these weeks Kevin Hawk starts barking, because it's just...
That ain't ever going to happen, but I might talk positively about the primetime players.
Alright. We'll have to wait and see what happens there.
See, plural, players, as in not just Darren Young.
It has begun! Finn Balor's arriving in Tokyo.
On the 4th.
On the 4th of July. This was a cool little video package.
It was really good use of a cardboard cutout of Finn Balor.
Do you think it was a cardboard cutout? I think it was just him standing really still.
It was just probably a still frame.
Maybe. Cool little plug for the upcoming show in Tokyo, where we're gonna see Finn Balor get his NXT title shot. Him talking about the 2 sides to everyone. There's the human and then the demon. It was cool. I appreciate just simple stuff like that. They didn't have to do anything super elaborate. It was just literally zooming in on Finn Balor's face and flashes of the demon paint.
Yeah.
So
how about some Divas action?
Yeah, we had Emma taking on the returning
Blue Pants.
This was a good match.
It was fun. It was probably the longest match Blue Pants has had.
Yeah, probably. This might have even been not the longest match on the card, but Emma has been getting, this is where we had some weird, the TV tapings didn't quite line up here, because we had her playing babyface on Main Event and heel on NXT. She's definitely getting the heel stuff down really well.
She did the normal stuff. Basically dominated almost the entire match.
Definitely.
Blue Pants got a couple roll-ups, got to kick her in the head a few times.
Yes, she did.
And despite the fact that it was her birthday, she didn't get the win.
Happy birthday. She ends up tapping out to the Emma Lock.
Which now Emma has taken to jump, trying to jump while doing the
Emma she's Lock. Trying to rip their head off while she's doing this move.
It used to just be kind of like a funny little air hump, but now it's a full-blown, jump.
It's angry sex. I mean, what? We had a backstage interview. Devin trying to get some words with Enzo, Cass, and Carmella. Because next week we have a 6-person intergender tag team match where they're going to face...
6-person mixed tag match.
There's guys and girls in the match. Guys can't face the girls, girls can't face the guys.
Yes.
All that stuff. They're going to be taking on Bamf, the
Badass
Blake
motherfuckers.
Alexa Murphy factor.
Oh, that one.
They can't say that. That's not PG.
No, it's not.
But yeah, Enzo, Cass, and Carmella just kind of run their mouth a little bit, and they've been
Much more serious, low tone than usual.
It did start off really funny because you had all three of them like talking trash individually about the same team while Devin's trying to get them.
And they're all talking over each other.
Yeah,
Which is something you would expect they do anyways.
you said it's funny because Carmella's just like talking trash like this. You see Enzo's kind of like over in his own little world here, and Cass is just looking down. He's like, these are bad people. And it's just all of them talking. They all get their words in. Carmella's gonna prove to Alexa that
They're not trash.
that they're not trash, and what's up with her hair? Looks like she's on fire. And then Enzo rolls with a whole Hunger Games. He goes off. It's so the weird.
He cuts a Hunger Games promo and ends it with a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And the weirdest part is I understood the whole thing, and I probably shouldn't have.
And Cass says they're going to get rid of Blake and Murphy.
Yeah.
Because NXT would be better without them.
We'll have to wait and see. But up next we have... I want you to talk about this one.
NXT's Resident Wrecking Ball versus Prince Pretty.
That's the one.
Bull Dempsey takes on Tyler Breeze.
This was
This match,
interesting.
for the most part, was typical of what I expected out of Bull Dempsey versus Tyler Breeze. Bull Dempsey starts out very aggressive in typical Bull Dempsey fashion.
Absolutely.
He's
the wrecking ball for a reason.
Throwing him from corner to corner, punching him as much as he can, kneed him in the face once. The crowd, at one point, did start to chant that Bull is gorgeous.
Well, and the other half said, no, he's not. I
Yeah.
agree with that half.
So, a little bit of a bipartisan crowd in this one because it was weird that these guys are both kind of recognized as heels.
Yeah, and so there's definitely like we've had this issue with Tyler for a couple weeks now where he's been facing other heels, and we're like, are they trying to push him face? Like, what are they doing?
Dempsey gets the advantage. Tyler runs off the ropes. He gets like the Vader squash. Dempsey goes up to the top to go for the flying headbutt, and Tyler rolls out of the ring. Dempsey takes off after him. They go a lap around the ring. Dempsey has to stop to catch his breath. But then he tries again, and they go a lap around the ring again. And Dempsey is completely winded by this point, holding his side. He's got a cramp. He's probably getting tunnel vision. Tyler Breeze laps him and then throws him back into the ring and hits him with a beauty shot for the win.
Yes, that's right. Tyler Breeze won due to Bull Dempsey's fatness or a lack of cardio.
I'm going to go with that one.
All right. Well, he's fat though,
Yeah.
but there's definitely a lack of cardio.
The crowd knew it.
Yeah. Up next, we had the first match we've had of Becky Lynch's since Unstoppable.
Yeah.
She makes a return. She's taking on Jessie McKay.
The Australian native.
These ladies put on a hell of a show. This was a good competitive match.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely way more in favor of the new girl than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Jessie had control for a good portion of the match.
Well, she was really working over the arm that was damaged at Unstoppable.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Becky's definitely still feeling the effects of that because Sasha put a hell of a work on that arm.
Yeah, and Becky doing sort of the same thing to Jessie, working over Jessie's arm because that sets up for the arm breaker that she uses, the arm bar, the disgusting arm bar.
The disgusting arm bar.
And we see a good comeback, 3 leg drops, better than Hogan.
Way better than Hogan.
And she does a cool hammerlock suplex throw.
Yeah, and then what was that? What was that slam thing that she used to set up the armbar? Like, you called it. You were hoping for something.
Yeah, it was a setup to what's called the Black Tornado Slam.
Okay.
Which is in the repertoire of a lot of technical wrestlers, like Mike Quackenbush uses it.
Okay.
which is basically almost like double underhooking your opponent with one of your arms and your legs, and then like a sideways gory stretch.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
And then a lot of the times what the person will do is they'll almost like hip toss the person around so they front bump out in a seated position.
That would
X-Factor
be
style.
Like you could oh man, that'd be cool.
But instead Becky Lynch kind of like drops her down backwards and then like does a cool little half circle into the armbar.
The disgusting armbar.
And picks up the submission victory over the newcomer. Good showing.
Absolutely. And yeah,
international flair.
Beautiful ladies, great wrestlers. I'm excited for more. But William Regal has a special announcement for us. I honestly don't even remember what William Regal said because what happened afterwards completely erased the rest of it from
William Regal's special announcement was that Samoa Joe was debuting and that Kevin Owens would be on commentary during Samoa Joe's match.
That's right, okay.
But Bull Dempsey showed up and Regal thinks he's got a problem.
It might be the fact that he's
eating a bag of Doritos
while trying to talk to the general manager of NXT,
while also having his hand strategically placed over the Doritos logo.
Well played, by the way.
Yeah.
Regal ends up taking the Doritos
and calling him Flour,
and then walking away, only for us to find out that he had. This is gross, by the way, because he just had a match, and he's still in his ring gear. He has a chocolate bar stuffed in his singlet.
Yeah.
That's gross.
They picked it up from the vending machine on the way to the office.
That's disgusting. Way more disgusting than Becky Lynch's armbar.
So, Bull Dempsey likes to eat, so what? So do we.
Bull Dempsey's fat. But it's okay. We can't say anything about it.
Jason Jordan has a new partner. This is going to happen with a thing, and it's
Chad Gable?
Gable. It's not Gable.
Gable wants it to be
Gable. Gable wants it so bad that he writes his own name into Jason Jordan's locker.
Yeah.
I think Chad has a bit of a man crush on Jason Jordan.
No, really?
I'm just saying.
It is a little weird. And he said that when Jason Jordan needed him, he'd be what was it?
Ready, willing, and Gable.
God. Well.
Oh, there's so many jokes I could make.
Let's not. Let's move on to Baron Corbin versus Angelo Dawkins.
And then the winner is Baron Corbin.
Gee.
Who would have thunk it?
This was a good match, though.
Yeah, I mean, Angelo Dawkins only got in like 2 punches, but...
Hey, it was 2 punches on Baron Corbin.
But they did a lot of good things, harking back to Angelo Dawkins' amateur wrestling background.
Yes.
Where he was doing a lot of takedown attempts on Corbin, and Corbin kind of stuffing all of them.
Yeah.
And, but definitely... You know, showing that Angelo Dawkins is almost able to match size with Corbin.
Angelo Dawkins is a big dude.
Move Corbin around, but not enough to actually get him down or to get the advantage.
Yeah, he attempts a bulldog, which Corbin just kind of shoves off.
And then clotheslines the crap out of his face.
Fuck. And says, you know what, I'm done with you. Picks him up, short arm whip into the end of days. Baron Corbin picking up the win.
But then we have Samoa Joe's coming up next.
Well, first we have Kevin Owens on commentary.
Yes.
Cuddling with Byron Saxton.
And Byron Saxton looking very unenthused. But Byron Saxton is worried because he remembers like, oh, well, last time this is where Alex Riley was sitting.
This is true.
We saw what happened there.
Who called him special?
I think Corey or Rich said that he was the special guest commentator.
And Kevin Owens was like, "Thank you. I love when people call me special. My mom tells me I'm special all the time."
Yeah, and then he decided his theory that why Byron wasn't enthused was because he was afraid of Samoa Joe, But since Kevin Owens is there, he tried to reassure to Byron that nothing was going to happen to him because he was there.
Yeah.
And he was going to protect him from Joe.
But we do have Samoa Joe taking on Scott Dawson. This was way more even than I expected it to be.
Yeah, a lot of good competitive-looking wrestling.
Samoa Joe, I mean, he's not the kind of guy to, take a match and be like, hey, guess what? I'm just going to make this all about me. Really puts over Scott Dawson and not only his strength and size, but his wrestling ability as well.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Dawson, we don't get to see very often because mechanics are never on TV. And when they are, Enzo and Cass are getting beat up in the back. So they never actually get to have a match. But yeah, Scott Dawson was on a hell of a time. He was biting Joe. He was
rubbing his eyes on the ropes.
It was really just beating him down. And then Joe went into Joe mode, and it was all downhill for Dawson at that point.
Yeah, you got the back attack, the enziguri kick, the
ST
Joe, the muscle buster,
and
kind of in short order.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it for you.
It was all over for Scott Dawson. And once the match is over, Kevin Owens gets up. He's like, all right, well, this was fun. I'm out of here. Starts to walk away, and Joe goes, hey, where are you going? Because, the last time you were in this ring running your mouth saying that you could drop me like that, but as soon as I got in the ring, you walked away.
You ran away.
You ran away.
And Kevin Owens goes, correction. I don't really run anywhere.
Oh, it was so good.
And Joe basically challenges him to a match, like right here and now. He's like, come in and we'll give the world the fight they want.
But, see, that's the thing. And I understand, this is Kevin Owens talking. I understand you're a rookie here in NXT, so as a veteran, let me let you in on something. You don't just get a match with the champion, especially for the title, after winning one match on NXT. That's what Kevin Owens did.
That's what makes it funny, because it's ironic.
And Kevin Owens is about to walk away because he's done with the whole situation, but Regal comes out and says,
You're right, Kevin. He doesn't get a title match.
But he does get a fight.
Against Kevin Owens. Next week on NXT.
What? That's going to be such a good match. I'm excited for that shit.
I'm going to predict right now that it's only going to last about a minute before Kevin Owens gets himself counted out.
Really?
That's my prediction.
But you know what's going to happen? He'll get himself counted out, but Finn Balor's going to grab him, toss him back in the ring, he's going to get hit with a muscle buster.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Finn Balor's going to get involved somehow.
Could happen.
So, yeah, we got some pretty big stuff happening next week. We got the mixed tag match between Banff and Enzo, Cass, and Carmella. We got Kevin Owens taking on Samoa Joe. We haven't really had
Prince Puma versus Johnny Mundo.
Yeah.
In taking up the entire show of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, we got the contract signing for the Battle of the Belts on ROH.
Yeah.
We'll probably have more Adam Rose on Main Event.
Alright.
Heath Slater might not make it.
No.
You guys ass kicked by Kevin Owens.
Heath Slater ain't gonna wake up until SummerSlam.
Hey, maybe there'll be an open challenge at SummerSlam. But that's it for the midweek wrap up. This was a pretty entertaining midweek.
It was fun.
We had some good stuff.
I liked it. If you liked it, hit like. If you
want to keep up to date, you can subscribe.
Yeah, and also favorite.
If it was your favorite.
No segue into that one.
No. And if you want to follow us, click all the links down in the description, the Twitters, the Tumblrs, the Facebook, the Reddit, the Instagram, the emails, all that stuff. There's all kinds of stuff down there.
And if you actually follow me, I'll probably say, hey, stop following me, weirdo.
No, follow him on Twitter. Don't follow him. Follow Thomas Wolf in real life.
Follow me in real life. No,
Don't say that. I'm trying to save you here.
That's not a real invitation. I was just kidding.
And be sure to post down in the comments what you thought about the midweek shows. Thank you to... we had a guy congratulate us on our 1 year anniversary, which this is our 1 year episode this whole week.
This is the year anniversary.
Yeah, we got.
So check out the year anniversary playlist. It's special because it's got one extra video in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there's a raw review in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have predictions for Money in the Bizank.
We will. We'll be having our SmackDown rundown and our indie news like normal. Yeah, and be sure to check out the special video where we talk about some of our favorite stuff that's happened over the first year.
Basically, the year in review.
Yeah. So yeah, all that stuff. Thanks for watching.
We like you guys. We like all of you guys who watch us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys who watch us like us.
That'd be awesome. And if you don't like us, fuck off.
Pretty much.
Or post in the comments why you don't like us.
Oh, that could get bad.
Mail. It's the internet.
It's true.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you at SmackDown.
Holy fuck, is that Maven?
What?